Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the workshop. If you would be so kind, go ahead and hit the like button now. And I'd like you to stick around for the duration of the video. We have a cool project today. I'm working on setting up a new quench tank setup. Now, I've been a knife maker now for two plus years. And I've crafted quite a few knives in quite a few different setups. I've gone through several forge iterations, starting with a coal forge in the beginning. I've been using propane now for the last year and a half straight, but I've never had a good quench tank setup. This was a tank that belonged to an air compressor, but it has a bunch of fittings there and stuff, two ends in it of course, but we're going to make this into a top-notch quench tank. Now, I don't have all the supplies here to do just what I want with it today. What I want to do with it in the end, so obviously we have to cut out one end, and we have fittings in both ends. Oil has to be brought up to a proper temperature, to a correct temperature for proper quenching. So you can't just be dunking into cold oil. That can create issues. It can give you improper heat treats. You need to be particular with stuff to do a real good job. Now you can get a piece of oil hardening steel, dunk it down into whatever temperature oil, and it's gonna harden the steel. But if you're looking for consistent results, you need to be able to heat the oil. So at some point I may put a heating element in here, but I'm not going to bother with that now. That's kind of the bottom of the list because it's so easy to warm up the oil just by warming up a piece of steel, dunking it in there a couple times, brings it right up to that temperature you want. What I do want to add though, and this is kind of in the near future, is an oil circulation system. Because I always have to be stirring. You want that oil to be as consistent in temperature all the way through as possible. Otherwise you can get warping and stuff because those little inconsistencies as you're dunking down into the oil, and every 2 inches say there's a 5-degree temp change because your oil hasn't been circulating. That can have that can cause you problems. It can cause you straighten issues and things like that. So I want that oil to be circulating. So we're going to get to that in the future, but I just don't have the supplies to do that right now. I live in a small airport community, and I'm still looking for the right pump setup, so we'll see what happens there. Now one end will be cut out of this tank. I'm not exactly sure on the height yet. It depends. I might have it almost as deep as I can have it. But we have, you can see a threaded hole on this side, and a threaded hole on this side. Now this side is plugged. I tried to find another one of these plugs to plug this side. They don't have either one in town. So I'm gonna have to weld this. I'll weld this one so it'll be solid. I'll keep this plug here. When the time comes that I get my hose set up, we're gonna be running this elbow fitting here, a line in the bottom, to a filter, to a pump, and pump it back in here. Who knows, maybe if my tank is taller, maybe I'll thread it in up here. I'll put weld a fitting on up here. We'll see. But that's the plan. So plug. And the only thing I could get here in town today, thanks to Robinson's General for helping me make this up, they're short on fittings because they don't do a lot of this type of work with these type of threads and stuff. So they don't have everything like you would if you went to a dedicated shop. But we have a brass fitting here with an elbow. I managed to get an end plug there as well, and then they ran some PEX pipe and crimped a couple fittings so I can plug this in so I don't have to weld it up. So this will just be plugged and sealed like that, and the time comes I get my pump set up, we'll be able to take that out and actually run our lines. I can probably, I might still be able to use this fitting, and yeah, we'll run a circulation system. I'd say that's a pretty good start. I decided to make it 16 inches deep, and if you think about it, that doesn't mean you're even limited to a 16-inch blade, even though I never go anywhere near that, or a 16-inch knife. You're limited to like a 16-inch blade overall. Well, of course my oil won't be flush with the top, I'll be down a few inches, but if this, or right here, is going to eventually be my circulation port, I won't want my oil level much over that anyways, so I'll probably have 12 or 14 inches of oil here, and that's what I will be able to dip to, especially if I'm cycling right out through the bottom, cycling through the top. That'll be beautiful. So I'll be able to do a knife blade that long, and my heat treat setup, or my forge, isn't even capable of that, so I left it tall enough so that I have room to grow in the future. Now I've got a weld across here, and clean it up, maybe get a little bit of paint on there. We also have to figure out how I'm going to stand this up. I want this to sit nice and high on the floor, probably up at least 18 or 24 inches off the floor. Here I'm just using some scrap steel that I have laying around. It's always nice to keep good mild steel, just easy welding steel around, carbon steel. It's nice to work with. It's so handy for lots of little projects and stuff, as you can see right here. I'm cutting angles on the legs. I could just weld them straight up and down to the side, but since this is oil and a lot of it in a tall tank, I wanted the footprint of this tank to be as wide as possible, or at least wider than just legs going straight down. So I need these angles to spread that footprint out over a larger surface area. I imagine if you were doing fab work, welding all the time, that you would have tricks and techniques to use all the time, kind of this repetition type thing is just second nature, but just a simple task like I'm doing here, finding out how to get those angled legs to meet flat with the floor, took a little bit of thinking. This is the best that I come up with. Maybe there's a better way, but I'm just sitting them on their angle on the bench and then using a square so I know I will get that right angle with the floor. Now, as for a 4-leg spacing on a circle or a cylinder like this, I want it to be accurate. You could just eyeball it, but you can see I just use a diameter or radius, bounces the circumference, divided by 4, and then I used a piece of tape cut to that circumference to mark all the way around, so 4 sections right around, so I had that perfect line, and it turned out really nice in the end. They're nice and accurate, they look all 90 degrees away from each other, so it's worked out really nice. Now, I tacked all 4, the tack is up top so I could pivot it, so it's not the handsomest, but then I tacked all 4 first so I could get everything roughly in line by eye, because even though you mark it out as careful as you can, with one person trying to hold it there, I'm sure you fab guys, you welders are probably chuckling, but I have a hard time getting everything where I want it and getting it to stay there. So tack, 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 all the way around till I get it in position. And then I just ran a full-length bead down each side of the piece. And right now, like on this perfectly flat floor, this floor is absolutely perfect there. There is no rock in this whatsoever, which is amazing. I can't believe that. Believe me, I'm not talking about my skill here. It's more luck than anything, but I'm really happy that it lucked out in that way. I don't know if when it all cools, it might move a little bit, might get a little bit of a rock. We might later. I was thinking about joining up those feet so we don't have those ends of feet sticking down in my in my floor, maybe even putting on a sheet of stuff with a couple casters. That would be really awesome, so you could easily move it around the shop and stuff. That'll probably be coming up, but I'm just going to give that a little clean up there now. Accountability for the quality of work. I've stopped grinding welds. I've set a rule for myself. No more grinding, only cleaning up with a wire brush just to get off the old dirt and dust from the flux core. It's kind of like putting your initials on your work. These are my welds. They are what they are, and it's a challenge to improve myself and get better at welding.
I ran the truck.
Yeah. 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 I welded a washer over that second side opening there, the inlet, and now I'm putting in the bottom valve. Hopefully it doesn't leak. And here's our finished product. We're ready for oil. I think it turned out well. There are some modifications I want to do with it in the future, like some feet, a bottom plate, some casters maybe, that oil circulation system. Those are all in the plans, a good steel cover for it. But I'm really happy with how this turned out. The only thing I added after that I didn't show on camera was I decided I needed a way to grab onto it once the weight of the oil gets in there. So I added a couple handles, as you can see here. No leaks. First heat treat was a beautiful success. It's very nice. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate the support. If you could hit that like button, it really helps. Comment down below. Tell me what else you think I could add to the system, or maybe give me some help with the oil circulation system, what to do for a pump, since I haven't found anything yet. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if it's your first time here. I'd love to have you back. We'll see you in the next video.